Hello, welcome to a Soulprint mini. Today I'm doing a mini, but I'm doing it with channeled information as opposed to cards. And today, as you can tell from the title, I'm wanting to take a look at sort of Trump, his life plan, etc., from 30,000 feet. I want to get a bird's eye view of not only what's going on here, because we kind of know that, right? We have to deal with it every day, but I want to look at it from a broader perspective. Um, and I'm using a wand today that is like selenite and some lovely, lovely crystals because I'm looking for the selenite to protect me. Okay. Really quick. I got a question from somebody who wanted to know why her pendulum hates her. Um, and I encourage anybody who has pendulum questions to hop over to Soulprint Insights. Um, There were a series of videos, you should be able to find it under playlist, but there was a series of videos that were done about pendulums, programming them, picking them, what you do with them, etc. Scoot on over there. And for that one person who said their pendulum hates them, I would suggest a new pendulum. Because sometimes energetically, you're just not going to get a fit. So consider that. All right, here we go. Spirit. What's the story with Donald Trump? Like, what is the overarching um, energy going on with him? Okay, so they're showing me him, he's a puppet. But the thing is that there's several puppet masters. Okay, there's not just one. There are several puppet masters who are kind of almost pushing and pulling. But the deal is that in many ways they all have the same objective, which is to use him to destroy the US, use him to completely sabotage democracy like off the face of the earth. If Americans do what Americans need to do, he is not going to get away with it. Energetically, they're showing me that okay, they're showing me his body, but like um what are those things with the sand in them? You know, you turn them upside down and the sand drains and right? One of those. I can't remember the name of them. But that's what his body is. And so they're showing me this sand representing his life force draining, out of the bottom of his feet. And I gotta say, it's not looking great. That life force energy is draining quite quickly, given kind of where it is in his body right now. Right now, honestly, it's sitting somewhere between the thighs and the knee. So and it's moving fast. It's moving faster than it has at any other point in time in his life. So things are not going to be going really well for him. October, November in particular are going to be really bumpy. Into the new year spring, um, March, April, May also feels like a kind of a tricky time for his health. So what we're going to be watching over the next few months is the crumbling, if you will, of the fantasy of Trump, his life, his worth, etc. That's just going to start disintegrating because more and more truths are going to come out. Um, okay. And they're just saying they just want to sort of remind you that this case in New York is about, it's being filed against a couple of Trump executives like Weisselberg, Trump, but his kids. Okay. And so there were questions about, did he transfer the title of Mar-a-Lago to one of his sons? It wouldn't matter because if they include Mar-a-Lago in what needs to be liquidated to satisfy his debt or all the payouts he has to make, John Jr., even if he got it in his name, it would be part of what goes into for receivership, bankruptcy, etc. So right now they're saying there's nothing of that has been done of any consequence. One of the other things that they're saying is when somebody is under a great deal of stress, um, their natural immunities lower. They get lowered, right? And so what you have is an elderly gentleman with questionable cognitive skills, in my opinion, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. But he's under such extensive stress that it feels as if his immunities are getting lower and lower. And you know what? This is sort of a tough time for that to happen, right? Because we're beginning flu season and COVID is starting to creep its way back in. It's not going to be anywhere near what we have experienced, just saying. But he's leaving himself in a very sort of physically vulnerable position. And of course, the thought of eating a vegetable or taking a vitamin is probably so far beyond his basic ability to understand how a body works that that's not likely something he's doing either. So be mindful of that. Um, what else do you want to tell us about Trump? Okay, going back to the puppet, there's really going to be an all-out effort to really try to interfere in the next election, to use the former guy as like the prawn to keep feeding information. It's not only to him, it's to his base. It's to all these people who just listen, believe it is truth, and then spew it out and get angry and mad and frustrated. And invariably, they're getting mad and angry and frustrated about something that isn't actually accurate. So there's going to be quite the push of really, really starting to trying to do what they can to sort of snap democracy. Um, it just and it's going to get scary. Okay, October, November look like we're going to see a bit more of a push there, but I have to tell you, it feels like somewhere along the way, I want to say now in spring 2024, there is something that's going to happen that is going to quite incapacitate him. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's going to get sick. I don't know if he's going to be found guilty of something and um, put under. There's nothing that he would be put under house arrest for, I don't think, because this one and the next case, excuse me, are civil. But he's going to be incapacitated somehow. Okay. When Fulton County goes ahead with this case on October 23rd, 24th, you're and prior to that, but after the beginning of that, you're going to see a few more people of those, I guess, what is it, 16 defendants that are left. They're going to start taking plea deals because they're going to realize they're screwed. And if they want to get out with their skin and or at least some portion of their life intact, they're going to want to take the plea so that they can just get this gone, do the time, pay the fine, and try to get on with their lives. So there's that. Um, the other thing is this: they're talking about the 14th Amendment, and they're saying, there's not really a good reason for the U.S. Supreme Court to not find in favor of the Constitution as opposed to the former guy. Because let's face it, he's already finished his work on the Supreme Court. And so they don't need him. They don't need to protect him. And there's a couple of them that are really smarting at the idea, like a little spicy, about the fact that, he told whoever it was to just find the votes or whatever, because his judges would take care of it. That didn't impress them none. So let's not be concerned with that. In some ways, he has become sort of the manifestation of that which is in need of correction within the United States, whether that is being undereducated and have no interest in actually finding the facts, whether that is this galloping greed that consumes particularly corporations, but there certainly are individual people, um, that just sort of gets him to steer off into these directions that are just so morally, ethically questionable. Um, he he represents the powerful, older, white, successful man. And a good portion of his voters are less successful, older, white, undereducated men. So part of the reason he is so able to hang on to that base is because he is like their shining hope. He is like the if he can do it, I can do it too. Well, the reality is he can't do it and he doesn't do it very well. But you know what? I think a lot of people would do fairly well in life if they inherited $1 million plus from daddy. Okay, so not only was there the inheritance, but then as business after business bombed out, daddy kept bailing him out. So he's not successful. But they read the art of the deal if they can get through it. And he's their guy. Okay. So again, have to understand that for a lot of people, he is the great white hope. Sorry. Um, but the reality is that he's not. And as things unfold, as we move forward, more and more people are going to see he's not. And what you're going to be left with is people like the ones right now who say, oh, 60% of us are really, really worried about the fact that he's being indicted all over the place. And then there's that 35% or so that, yeah, but even if he is in jail, I don't care, I'm a vote for him. Those are the people who are not so committed to him. They're not maggots. They're just really red Republicans. And they are going to get to that space where they're like, man, it was all an illusion. Everything he told us that we believed has been proved to be a lie. Those are the ones that he's going to lose. Not that stronghold base, but the other ones who are Republican but will plug their nose and vote for him if he's all there's left. All right. Spirit, to wrap this up, I have one final question. Could you please give us some clarity on this? Is Donald Trump going to be the Republican presidential nominee for 2024? Okay. They're showing me waves, okay? So, waves come in, waves go out. So, what they're saying is the situation is still very, very much in flux because there's all these different variables, right? Let's say he has a heart attack because he doesn't eat a vegetable. Well, how severe is the heart attack? Can he recover from the heart attack? Like that kind of thing. There's so many variables. But what they're showing me is interesting because they're showing me that the water comes in, which you would say that is um, success for him, right? But what he's saying that they're showing me is as the water recedes, every time it comes in, it recedes farther back. It comes in, it recedes farther back. So what it's saying is on an ongoing basis, he has less and less of a chance of hitting the shore with any actual vitality or enthusiasm or even energy. I guess we'll take that and hold tight. All right. Thank you very much for being part of this mini. I hope you appreciated or enjoyed the channel reading today. Until next time, take really good care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye now.